Maybe. Oh, yep, we are live.
Or is this the mirror universe?
Is this the mirror universe where we don't know we're live?
Maybe I should have a goatee.
I'm growing one.
Are you?
We should
Good
all
for
have
you.
goatees, at least
It didn't
for
come in
today.
big enough.
I got. Oh, you know what it probably is, Dave? I shaved everything off.
You shaved everything off, like on your face,
Yeah.
you mean?
Yeah, the whole thing was gone, so now it's growing back again. But
Okay. Yeah, maybe
Yeah.
that's probably what it is.
yeah, I got so fucking fed up with it. I just fucking shaved it all off one day. I was pissed off, and then I'm like, I probably shouldn't have done that.
Just before we came on the air, I go, Jody, something's different. So, hey, I haven't introduced the podcast, but we're pretty safe to be live right now. Good evening, everybody. It's Wednesday night, and we're here to cover the original series here on Live Long and Podcast as part of our Ted Trek podcast Rewatch series, which began with Ted Mater, who is yet to arrive for this podcast. However, it doesn't matter. We're going to talk about this episode anyway. I'm Dave Mater, coming at you with Star Trek TV movie reviews, joined by Adam Woodward and Jody Simpson.
Hello.
How are you guys doing tonight?
Doing great.
Not
Great.
too bad.
I'm excited to talk about Mirror Mirror. I hope you guys are as well. I did talk about this last week. This is one of my favorite episodes of the original series. Adam, what do you think?
I just finished it 20 minutes ago. First time in a while. Really, really enjoyed it. I thought that had some great acting in it. Listen, Jody, you weren't here for the last 2 weeks. I didn't like either of the last two. So,
Okay.
I'm back on track. Yeah, it was a good episode. I like the fact that it all took place in the Enterprise, or one of the Enterprises. I found the acting convincing. William Shatner did a really good job in this episode. Also good to see Sulu and Chekhov talking a little bit for once, because they're usually pretty quiet. And everybody had a role in this one.
Yeah, they really did. Jody, what did you think?
Pretty much the exact same thing as Adam, really. This is one of those, one of the iconic episodes. Like, this is the one that people always remember, evil Spock and evil Kirk and all that. It's like, but are they really
Sulu.
evil or just different? Yeah. Sulu with the big scar, all that stuff, and Chekhov getting killed. Well, I guess he didn't really get killed.
He didn't get killed. So Kirk spared him.
He spared him, but he got put in the torture tube or whatever.
Booth. The booth with him.
Yeah, but a lot of like sci-fi stuff since has done this exact same thing. Like, it's almost like a lot of sci-fi shows have kind of even went so far as to kind of acknowledge this as an episode and a trope and all that. In the future, like, I know Futurama has done stuff for this. I've known there's a whole slew of influences that have been taken from this episode. So, like, even Doctor Who and stuff like that. So it's overall, I think it's a good episode. I agree with Adam. I think the acting was pretty good. It was, again, refreshing to see it. The worst thing about this entire episode for me was the fact that I realized that Uhura has a much better six-pack than I do. But past that, it's a solid episode. Like, there's not really anything to really bitch too hard about. It's it drags a little bit at times, but it's not too bad. Like, it's a solid episode, I think.
Yeah, and for me, it's always been one of my favorites. But I think that this is one of the type of episodes in Star Trek in general that I like, which is sort of like alternate reality. I also like it in comic books and different mediums. Like, there's an episode of Next Gen. Oh, hey, there's the man of the hour.
Nope. He's coming in.
He's coming in. There he is.
Wow.
Dad, how you doing?
There he is.
Oh yeah, he's
I'm
there.
here.
Now he's
There he
in
is.
landscape format.
I'm on my phone because my computer's still jammed. I don't know what's going on with it.
That's okay. This works better than your computer.
Yeah, it looks better. That's for sure.
It ain't working, my computer. I'm on my phone.
Yeah.
So, Dad, thanks for joining us.
Yep.
I don't see Dave. Where are you, Dave?
I'm here. It's when you're on your phone, it's hard. You don't get a great view.
Can't see everybody. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay, got it.
Yeah. But thanks for joining us. And we were just kind of we got Adam's and Jody's initial reactions. I was sharing a little bit about what I liked about this episode, but generally we're all positive. And you had picked this episode. So what are your thoughts on Mirror Mirror? Did you get that one? Did you hear me?
What?
I asked you what you thought of the episode.
One episode without the screw ups is all we want.
It's a direct question. It's not. It's.
Can you hear us, Ted?
I can hear you. Yep. Can you hear me?
Maybe he can't hear you, Dave. Can you hear Dave?
Yes. But I can't hear Dave. No, I can't hear anything from Dave.
Ah, okay. So that's the reason why he didn't respond.
Yeah, I
So-
can't hear anything.
Well, here
all
until
I
we
can
fix
see is
this,
Adam.
I'll take that over. What basically Dave asked you was he wanted to know what your thoughts were on the episode. He was talking just briefly about some of the cool things that were happening in it, and he got both of our opinions as well. So he's just
Okay.
we're waiting on yours, urgently waiting on yours.
On my opinion on it?
Yes, on the episode itself.
Yes, there was a lot of questions in this episode, of course, of how this all got together and how it all worked. And, I don't quite understand the melding of one universe versus the other, that one universe could destroy a planet and the other one didn't, So it was kind of confusing from that point of view. But it was interesting at the same time because it was lots of, different personalities of the same characters in a different system.
Like I know you can't hear me, but that's kind of the thing with the mirror universe is that it
But I
doesn't.
can't hear any response.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're all listening to Dave right now.
Oh,
That's
are
the
you?
problem.
And
Okay, well, I'm
can
trying
you
to
hear
get on my
Adam?
computer still, but it's slow. So if it works, I'll go on that.
Okay.
Yeah, can you hear Adam?
No,
Hey, Ted, can you hear me?
no, I can't hear Adam either. I can see
Why
him.
can he only hear me then?
I don't
That's
know.
so weird.
Yeah, I can see Adam, but I
You can-
I can see him, but I can't
Can
hear
you, see,
him.
you can't see Dave though, right?
There he
Nope.
goes.
There, now he's gone. All right, doesn't matter. Anyway, let's keep going. We'll eventually get
going.
him back.
He'll be back. All right. So the thing with the mirror universe is that it's one of like these things that Star Trek is well known for, and it's a trope, but
Yeah.
it's not science fiction. It is very not. It really does
No,
not
there's
do-
not a lot of reality basis on this. Yeah, I agree. Yep.
Okay, now you can see us all, he says. So let's see how
Oh,
this goes.
perfect.
And I can hear Dave. Adam, say
You can hear
something.
me?
Hey, Ted.
Yeah, I hear you. Okay.
All right.
Test.
I went
Oh,
back.
the dog's going.
Oh, now he's on the computer, I think.
No, I'm not. No, I'm still not. No, I'm not on the
I wonder if
computer.
it's his internet connection still, because now his video is nasty looking.
Who, mine?
Anyway, yeah,
It's a little grainy.
Anyway,
It's okay.
it's fine.
It's fine. You can hear us. We can hear you. And
Yeah.
see.
That's really
So-
the point of this.
Well, I'm just
We-
logging in. It finally let me log in.
All right, Med, we're live, Ted.
Yeah.
Adam, does that take you out of it at all? The fact that the mirror universe is not science fiction, that it's
No,
so
not at all. That was a great little story. The only annoyance I had in this whole episode, I got to tell you guys, is how fast that Kirk put it all together. You know, he's in the cabin.
Yeah.
This must have happened, and we were, but honestly, how would your mind go there? But I guess they're. So he's the captain.
How do you get that? Yeah, how do you get to that point? Like it was so quick. Yeah, you're right. It's literally like it was like he jumped off the teleporter and then went, "Oh, this must have happened."
30
Like-
seconds later,
How did you get to that? Like, I don't know about you guys, but I've never really thought of James Kirk as being a super smart man. Like, this is
usually Scotty would put that together. Not him.
yeah. Like, I can understand Spock figuring it out. I can understand Scotty, and even maybe Sulu, but not Kirk. He's not my number one when it comes to reasonability in the universe.
Normally that's Spock's job, but Spock is not a part of his landing party here. So
No.
he has Scotty, Uhura, and McCoy with him from the main universe, the Prime universe. But he's very much the leader, right? Like the three of them are just kind of following his lead.
Yeah. It almost feels like their stuff was tacked on.
Yeah, it's not consistent, I think, also with just how Kirk handles situations where we've seen what's going on? You better start giving me answers or I'm going to do this or that, right? Normally that's how he handles it when he's confused. Like he starts I better start hearing what the answer is. But he doesn't play this at all the same. He plays it very cool. He notices that the uniforms, Spock's beard. He notices, like, in particular, the dagger on Spock's uniform, and goes, I better kind of assess what's happening here. And then by the time they get to his quarters to kind of like talk about it, I think I agree. Like, it feels a little too quick. I think it's just they need to explain this to the audience, but they kind of
they do, and they need to do it quickly. Agree on that.
Well, and on the original series, that happened a lot. Like, it's not like it was just like, it was always like a slow burn when it came to what was going on. It was a lot of, it's just like when they go back in time and stuff and they explain things like, why is this guy in charge? Somebody says, and, Kirk's like, oh, well, history says this, blah, blah, blah. It's like, it's, they only got 50 minutes. Like, they gotta step it up, I guess.
You know what though? But they did a good job in the wrap up too, where when they came back to the original episode or the original Enterprise, and Spock saying, or Kirk asked Spock, "Well, how did you recognize him so quick?" And he says, it's easy to play the barbarian rather than the barbarian playing the rational human, and it was pretty cool to see how alternate Spock caught on very quickly. Hey, these aren't the real guys. Like, there's something wrong.
If that isn't a metaphor for William Shatner's acting, I don't know what is. It's easier to play the barbarian than
and this is the original Mirror Universe episode, like, that spawned a whole bunch of Mirror Universe episodes in multiple.
But which one is the best one out of Star Trek, Dave? And you already know what my answer is going to be.
It might be for me. Okay, I want to hear your answer, but for me, it might be this one. I still think that this holds up as one of the greatest Mirror Universe episodes.
There is one better than this.
Oh, here it is. Let's hear it.
And that is from Enterprise.
Oh, I agree. I am totally.
Mirror Darkly is a fantastic episode.
I want to go back and watch that one later tonight.
It's a great episode. Yeah. It's a shining star on a fairly reasonable turd. But it's
not only it's arguably one of the best mirror. It's a two-parter, but Mirror Universe episodes. Yeah. But it's probably there he goes again.
We lost him again. All right.
It's probably the best Enterprise thing in general to me. Like, it
is one of the best episodes of the series. Yeah, I would agree with you on that
because it features no characters from the main series.
Well, they're all there. They're just
only mirror counterparts.
Yeah,
who are much more compelling.
But they even changed the intro for that one.
Yeah, I know it's
like
not. It's
the two-parter. It's not the stupid.
It's just like or like
it's like
guns.
You know what it actually reminds me of? Star Trek. Sorry, not Star Trek. Obviously, that's what we're talking about. Starship Troopers. Like the whole propaganda crap that was going on in that entire movie. That is exactly what that episode is. It's literally propaganda. It's amazing.
Yeah, it's a fascist like state in a sci-fi time, right?
Yeah. But there was really every series really had a mirror episode.
Next Gen never did.
No. Closest thing they had was yesterday's Enterprise, which was not a mirror universe, but
not
it was
really
like a dark timeline. And
it was an alternate timeline, which I guess really in a way is kind of the same thing.
And then bringing Thomas Riker in, and that was sort of a mirror, but not really.
Not
True.
Quite. Because
there's Ted.
The Next Gen was so intent on not chasing original series stuff.
Right. They could have done.
But Deep Space Nine was a little bit more willing to do that.
Yes.
And so they were
had two different episodes that were like that, right?
No, they did like 8 different Mirror Universe episodes.
Really?
In the course of Deep Space Nine.
No shit.
Starting in season 2, but and it's a sequel to this episode because we kind of find out what happens with Spock in the Mirror Universe after this encounter, because there are consequences to what happens here. In that universe. Right. Dad, welcome back.
Yeah, I'm back now. I'm on my computer now.
Yeah, we figured. Yeah. Mm-hmm. How you doing?
You can't hear me?
Oh, I can hear you.
We can hear you.
I lost my name. I'm anonymous.
There, you're Beth Mater now. Enjoy
it. I'm back.
There you go. Okay. So I don't even know if we got your answer at all, Dad. You liked the episode, right?
Yes,
We
I
did. You said you liked
the
it, but
episode.
you kind of said there was. But okay, I didn't ask you anything specific. You said it was a little bit weird because it's not good science fiction. How can there be the same person
No,
in
it's
both?
good science fiction. It's just a lot of unanswered, loose ends. I'd say loose ends.
Right, plot
But it was
holes
good.
or logic. Yeah, because it's very difficult for there
Yeah.
to be two not just two people, but identical people with the same parents and everything in both universes. But they're very different people. Different things happen to them. They die at different times. It doesn't make sense, but it doesn't matter. You're supposed to kind of just put that aside and just
Yeah.
enjoy the
Well,
ride.
yeah, if you look at there's a lot of things on the whole parallel universes possible phenomenon and stuff, and I actually have read some of this stuff, and the theory is that people are always the same, but the circumstances that happen to them are different. So the odds of two people in a parallel universe being in the same spot at the same exact time is infinitely null. But the fact that they could have the same parents and stuff actually does technically make sense, according to
Like I watched that show
everybody who's-
Sliders, and
yeah.
I don't know if anybody else is how up
I never
you
saw
are
that one.
on the multiverse theory, like the idea that there are not just one other
Yeah.
parallel dimension, but many, and that you would
There
have
could be a billion
doppelgangers,
Dave Maters.
right? And wouldn't that be a great thing?
Yeah.
But like I remember that
for it.
episode.
Worf can
There's an
handle
episode
it.
of like Next Generation where Worf is going from like sort of reality to reality, right? That's more based on like choice
Oh, yes.
and like
Yep.
different timelines. But again, that's another version of a Star Trek episode that I like. It's sort of like seeing characters in a different context, in a different way.
Yeah.
And that's why I just gravitate towards this episode, because what if the Federation was not benevolent? Because that's how this episode starts off.
Well,
Right?
it's an empire. It's an empire. They call it an empire.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
still reference it as the
Yeah.
Federation, though.
The
Or
Terran,
not
no,
the
the
Federation,
Starfleet.
the
Starfleet is still a
Starfleet.
thing.
They still they still call it Starfleet, but it's under that umbrella. Yeah, you're right.
It's under Terran Empire.
An evil Starfleet.
Yeah, they're an evil
Yeah,
Starfleet.
Well, they're
off
obviously
planet.
evil. They have decals all over their doors.
Yeah,
That's
Right.
how you know.
Yes, and they would blow up a planet to get the
That's right.
get the stuff.
but for instance,
Dilithium crystals.
the aliens with these dilithium crystals, who are just humans with blue dots on their heads, the Halkins.
Yes.
They don't seem different at all in either universe. They seem like the exact same people.
Yeah, I kind of got that jive as well. That does remind me of one of
Yeah, they
one of the
were-
best scenes of the
yeah.
whole show, though. Is I thought was the scene where Kirk is talking to him at the beginning, and he's like, the guy's like, "Well, I know with your force you could just take it," and Kirk is just like, "Yes, but we won't," and then he kind of walks away, kind of thing, right? So I thought that was kind of cool.
Right? Yeah, like that's like the Federation is just okay. Can we mine dilithium crystals? They're like, well, what if you use it to kill people? And they're like, well, we won't take them by force. Just think about that. In the mirror universe, which is the situation Kirk finds himself in, it's like, no, kill these people. They've refused the Empire. An example must be made. And Kirk is desperately trying to not do this the whole mission, and everybody's trying to assassinate him for it, which is fun. Dad, what was your favorite like aesthetic change about the mirror world, if you will, the mirror enterprise?
Well, I liked all the logos. I liked all the evil logos they had, and they had better uniforms.
It was
Did you
better.
have a
You liked it
uniform?
better.
More fancy uniform. almost
I
had,
don't
like, dress
know,
uniforms
pinning a
with a
couple
nice
medals
scarf.
onto a couple pins onto somebody's uniform and then wrapping a gold scarf around is considered a better uniform, but okay. I'm
Kirk's is pretty awesome.
gonna
I
ask
liked it.
Dave on this one, because if anybody knows fashion in Star Trek, it's Dave.
Yes, I would say I love Kirk's variant, like the gold, like with the no sleeves, and all that. I like Spock's version too. They're very like imperialistic, right? So there's more like variety, I guess, among their uniforms, and then the female variety is the midriff, right? They with the longer boots, they have like taller boots than in the other one, so that they can hide daggers.
Yeah,
and
that
stuff
was
in
the biggest problem for me, was Uhura having a much better six-pack than me.
right.
So.
But it's also the aspect of like that all the women of this universe use sex and to like sort of get what they want, right? Like it's a tool, and you saw that a lot in the Enterprise Mirror universe, which is a prequel to this. But
I'm going to be
it's-
controversial here and say that that's true all the time. But anyway,
well, I don't know if I'll comment on that. But
Sorry to our female fans.
But it's like,
I'm just kidding.
If a woman comes onto you in the mirror universe, run, because it's probably bad for you.
Yeah, you're fucked. You're screwed. Like, just run away. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, it's not going to be good for you. It's going to end bad.
Secret weapon out.
Yeah, unless you got Marlena,
the girl knew where the secret weapon was.
The Tantalus field. The secret weapon. Yes. Adam, did you have?
They can make you disappear.
Did you notice anything in particular on the Mirror Enterprise? Like, I don't know if you noticed the chair. The
chair was much taller. The captain's chair.
Yeah, it's much more perched up high. Yeah,
more of a throne, right? It's got
more of a throne.
And they did a good job of that because he sat back in it and it's way above his head, at the back of it.
The turbo lifts were darker too, I thought.
Were they? I didn't notice that.
They're like really dark.
And there were also way more guys in that like jumpsuit, like the enlisted jumpsuit, the blue, red, green. They have all three colors, but these are guys who are not officers. Service? Yeah, they're the non-officers. They're the guys who just joined up.
And NCOs or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And they're all like private bodyguards for the different like high up guys, right?
How about that fight with Chekhov though?
Yeah, so after Kirk refuses to bomb this planet, he comes out of like Chekhov immediately is like, we're going to assassinate this guy. Mirror Kirk would have seen it coming, but Prime Kirk doesn't understand this world yet. And
so Prime Kirk's like, yeah, whatever, it's Chekhov, no big deal.
Yeah, so he comes out of the turbo lift, and one of Chekhov's guys just bangs him right in the face. And
just takes him straight in.
Boom. Yeah. And then Chekhov gets
that's interesting for Star Trek.
No, but he would question the assassination of an officer who has refused prime orders.
So on that though, Chekhov is trying to kill Kirk to become captain, was it? Because I didn't understand the command line there.
He said we'll all get promoted. If you're out of the way, then everybody moves up.
Yeah, everybody moves up.
So right? Spock first goes
Spock would be captain, and then Scotty
Sulu would become first officer,
second in command or whatever, and yeah.
Because in this world, Sulu wears a red shirt
too. Sulu be third in command.
Actually, that's true. I never noticed that. You're right.
Yeah, Sulu, despite the fact that he wears
the captain, if I get rid of both of you.
In the Prime universe, like it's Scotty who's the third in command, right?
Yeah,
he holds lieutenant.
But I guess in this universe, it's Sulu,
right?
And Sulu was the director of security.
Yes. Well,
yes. He was,
and that seems to be a big. That's a big position in a place in a ship like that.
Yeah.
Well, like Scotty compares Sulu to the Gestapo, and that's kind of what I get the impression that he is. He's sort of like the secret police. Like I don't know if you ever seen The Hunt for the Red October, but remember that KGB guy?
Himmler.
Fantastic movie.
He was like Heinrich Himmler in the war.
Yeah, he's like Gestapo or KGB, or whatever. He seems to be a little bit
more of a black op kind of guy.
Yeah, clandestine a little bit. Like he's kind of there to watch the senior officers for maybe the high ups back in command.
This has to be a record episode for Chekhov and like talking.
Well, it's early.
Like he's got a lot of lines in this. Yeah,
this is his first season that he was in.
Same thing with Sulu. Sulu's got a lot of lines too.
I like Sulu's scar from past battles.
It's so distracting though, because you're looking at it, you're like, this doesn't even look real.
No,
it's just so distracting.
You want to peel it off its face.
Yeah, you're like, why do you have that shit on your face? Wash it off. Yeah.
But also is the discipline that wasn't there when the captain was on the bridge. They're all like leaning.
Oh back. Yeah, they're all being like douchey and even
trying to pick up Aurora.
And later on, Sulu's like trying to molest Uhura.
Like, question. Wow. Well, she kind of first he like forces her away, and then she throws him off, and that's when Kirk walks in the first time. But later on, when she basically distracts him so that Scotty and
he doesn't
McCoy
see the console or whatever,
can change the transport or whatever. And okay, there was a big deal about like the fact that it was the first kiss between Shatner and Uhura, or Shatner and Nichelle Nichols in that one episode, right? But like there seems to be no deal about Uhura and Sulu making out in this one. So what's that about?
And this episode was before it, wasn't it?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. It's probably because it was a white man a white
Yeah,
man
it was
kissing a black
afterwards.
woman. That was the bigger issue here, which is just fucking.
But a
horseshit,
Japanese
anyway.
man kissing a black woman, no.
Apparently, that's fine.
If you tell me that that's the sequence, that this is the episode was before the other one, then
I'm almost positive this episode was before the.
It is.
Notorious
I just checked
episode.
it. Yeah, the one with
Yeah.
the kiss is in season 3.
Yeah. But you got to remember, it's all the bigotry and bullshit that was happening in the 60s when it came to race. So, obviously the white man and the black woman
it was about
would
the
be a
white
way
people.
bigger issue.
It was, just so I understand. I have to sometimes classify my racism so I get it. But okay, so it was.
Yeah, well, all racism is horseshit.
Yeah,
anyway,
I just was like, it stuck out to me. I'm like, well,
back
that seems
then
like
it was a big deal, right?
That seems like an interracial kiss on Star Trek before that. So
Yeah,
what's
sure.
that?
Yeah, Sulu
What
and
about that
Uhura.
image?
That sounds perfectly racial to me, but all right.
What
Not
about
only that,
the,
but later on, this guy's a gay man. Like, come on.
Well,
Sulu's openly gay.
The
George
actor
Takei.
is.
Yeah.
The
Oh,
actor is,
absolutely.
but-
He's married and everything.
Well, that
Great
was
guy.
the whole thing. Is like in the new reboot in the J.J. Abrams movies when they made John Cho's Sulu gay. George
Which
Takei
they shouldn't
objected
have.
because he said he had
Yeah,
never
he was like, "That's
played
stupid."
George.
Yeah.
He never played Sulu gay in the original series or in the movies. Now, in the movies, he does wear that cape in Star Trek 4. But
Now, hey, hold on. I'm defending the cape. All right?
It was-
That cape is gorgeous. You
Hey,
do not
he-
give
he
that man
rocked it.
shit for the cape.
he rocked it.
That
but,
was
you know.
that's the highlight of Star Trek 4. I'm telling you right now.
Mhm.
Is that cape?
in Star Trek. He wears it in 3 too. But yeah, it's
He does wear it in 3. You're right. Yeah.
Anyway, so just on that, but what else on the mirror universe? Like
I
just this
never
whole.
saw Dave. I never saw anybody wear the agonizer after that first guy.
Right. Yeah. So the agonizers are interesting. So every person has to wear a little agonizer on their belt so that an officer can use it on you. Right. It creates like this intense pain.
Yeah, so basically it's a taser that you wear but you're not allowed to use, but an officer can use it on you.
Right. It's to remind you that somebody can just grab this and use it on you if they don't.
Why don't you just leave it in your quarters?
Your agonizer,
forgot it.
please. Yeah, I forgot to wear it today. Sorry. Your agonizer. Go get your agonizer.
Oh, yeah, okay, I'll get right on that.
Did they call that device in Discovery the agonizer too? I think they did.
Yeah. There's the agony booth. It was the other thing too, right?
Right.
Which is what we see Chekhov.
Where
in.
Chekhov was.
Yeah, he's
Yeah,
in like
Chekhov's
it's
sitting
like
there screaming,
the supersized version of it. Where
it's like a big old sex tube or something.
the big it's
was
like
weird.
going into a microwave and they're just like you're just in agony from every part of your body all at once, but you can never pass out. So you can spend hours in there without relief. It sounds quite terrible. And I loved in Discovery they like enhanced this effect with like electricity and stuff, and they made it look awesome. Really, they did.
Yeah, I didn't get that far into Discovery to see that, I guess.
Yeah, like and some of the updates they made to the mirror universe I think were interesting in Discovery. It's probably some of the more redeeming things in the show. But anyway, I digress. Yeah, but the agonizers, that's what they do to enforce discipline. They invented by Phlox on Enterprise.
That's interesting. I didn't know that.
Okay, so just let's talk about like so finally like they get to this point where they're like, okay, we got our escape plan. We're gonna hook up the transporter so we can get back to where we're going. But Spock's been sort of ordered to go after Kirk for not obeying orders. We also have Marlena in the mix, which is the mirror Kirk's like woman, girlfriend, lover, who seems to like actually want to help the real Kirk or the mirror Kirk. She doesn't know it's our Kirk. And she's kind of revealing a lot of things to Kirk, especially about Spock and who this particular Spock is. That Kirk doesn't want to do anything, doesn't want to come into conflict, just kind of wants to get out quickly. And the eventual showdown between Kirk and Spock in the end, right? Where there's the mind meld, Spock mind melds Kirk. And
No, McCoy.
McCoy. It's McCoy. Yeah, sorry. He mind melds McCoy to kind of because he figures out that McCoy and the boarding party aren't his versions of these people. So he gets a lot of information from that mind meld, and then he has a conversation later on, just before they escape, because Spock allows them to escape. That the Empire is doomed to fail. that you can't really run a society like this. It's borderline prime directive violation, really, when you look at what goes on here. But
we also don't know if the prime directive even exists in the mirror universe.
No, but
right?
it exists for Kirk, our Kirk.
It does, yes, yeah. But if he's in a different universe, does it matter?
I guess not. I don't know. I'm not a lawyer, so
exactly.
There might be a different prime directive for the other guys.
Yeah, but that's what's kind of left here is like this sort of interesting ending to this episode. I think, and I think why we got so many mirror universe episodes after this, because they show and what becomes a theme after this is that we can't be crossing over with that prime universe. They have too many good, crazy ideas that are going to corrupt our people and are going to be threats to sort of our totalitarian regime. That right. And Dad, do you want to know what does happen? Sorry, go ahead.
You know, your comment about, I mean, it's nature versus nurture, right? I mean, you know, you can be the same person in two different worlds, but two different characters. But it's interesting when they play with the, you know what, I'd rather be over there. Like, I find myself suited in that universe, so I want to be in there. You know.
Yeah, I can relate to that. Yeah, like sometimes that feels like more of a world you understand than the sort of like maybe the more bubblegum, like sort of really straight-laced world that the Federation is. Like, you know, they're almost too good, right? Sometimes.
Or it could go the other way. I mean, you don't want to come over where you're not going to be stabbed in the back at every turn, and you know, you have a real chance to rise on your merits versus how strong you are and how many alliances you have, and you know, it's, to me, that world would be very stressful for anybody in command, in the command structure.
Anybody, wherever you are, it sucks to be at the top. It sucks to be at the bottom. Like in that world, it's just, it's no good. Everyone's trying to kill you. Whatever.
It's true. Everybody is trying to kill you.
You know, even the fact, you know, coming back to Marlena or whatever her name was, you know, that she likes to be the captain's woman, but she's also in the science deck. She was talking about cleaning up a mess after the storm, and you know, and she, you know, whatever she does on, I guess she's the yeoman now in the regular Enterprise, but just, you know, I think the episode speaks to just the strengths of the Star Trek universe, the original Star Trek universe, you know, and people are equal and they can rise on their own accords and their own merits versus having to create alliances and assassinations, murderers,
right, and use sex and seduction and whatever is sort of at your disposal to get what you want, because the mirror universe people are all about ambition, right? Like that, you know, glory, power. They're very Klingon, actually.
Yeah, well, I like how they wrote her, because you kind of get that scene where she's talking to Kirk and in the quarters there, and she's like, well, if I'm not going to be with you, I will go get transferred to another ship and I will rise rank and be a captain's woman again. Like, you know, like you know, at one point you think, okay, well, she's pretty loyal to Kirk in this universe, but yet you also know that she literally doesn't care. She's like, fuck it, I don't care. I'm gonna be the captain's woman no matter where I am and what ship I'm on. So, you know, you kind of have a loyalty versus non-loyalty there at the same time, which is kind of neat.
Yeah, it also implies that, you know, based on the time, that a captain could never be a woman. You know?
Yes. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So
that was fairly proficient through all of the original series, though.
Yeah.
Wasn't
we
really
never saw one.
Stated,
there's actually an episode, we haven't watched it here, but I think it's the last episode of the third season. Like, I think it's the final episode of the show, and they say women weren't allowed to be captains because they were too emotional.
Oh, good.
Wow.
Like, they actually, like, Kirk says this on screen. It's like it's like, well, why did you say that? And
well, there's a lot of questionable lines in this show. But you got to remember when it was made, right? Like, it's, you know, this is that's the end of the 60s, right?
Or her when she goes, "I'm scared, Captain." Right? And he's like,
Yeah.
Uhura, pull it together. You're the only one who can do it. She's like, okay.
But now that I've seen Uhura's fucking abs, man, like that woman could take down anybody, I think.
And she handles she handles
buff.
like the situation with Sulu quite well, I thought. She handles herself. Like, I don't understand. Yeah, like that. This is something Kirk has to do with women in numerous episodes. Is like sort of pull them back together. You know?
Yeah, he's always kind of like their guidance counselor. You know, it's like, what?
Yeah,
you know, there's not a strong woman among them, apparently. But that's
Well,
just
you
totally
just
not
need a
true.
quick speech. He just has to grab you by the shoulders and go, "Come on."
Yeah, total horse shit. But again, 60s. That's what it is.
Sure.
You could never pull that shit off now.
Dad, do you have more questions
Yep.
about this episode?
No.
Do you want to know what happens?
Sure.
So this mind meld and the little talk with Spock leads Spock to eventually overthrow his version of Kirk. He eventually ascends to become the emperor of the Terran Empire. But he keeps talking about reform. Like, we need to disarm and we need to change our ways and become more peaceful. And he does it. The Terrans do eventually reform their ways and become less militaristic. And their enemies in the Klingon Empire and the Cardassian Union choose to take this. They choose to conquer Earth and Vulcan as a result of that. And so they spend the next century as slaves of the Klingons. But that's kind of where Deep Space Nine picks up
Oh.
with their first Mirror Universe episode. So that's what happens.
It's all connected.
It's all connected. Plus, there's a whole bunch of Discovery Mirror Universe episodes, and there are, I said, and there's the two-parter in Enterprise, which I think you don't watch that show, you might like, because it's a little closer to this. It's got some original
Very
series tie-in.
close to this, yeah.
I think that's on Thursday nights, I think.
Yes, right. So, but it's on Netflix. You can look. It's season 4, Star Trek. It's near the end of season 4, Enterprise. There's
Enterprise?
a two-parter. Yep, Enterprise.
Yeah.
It takes place 100 years before this.
One day, Dave's gonna let me do a complete rewatch of the whole series with him.
Oh yeah, we're
I
gonna
know.
rewatch
I know he
Enterprise.
wants to. Yeah.
Oh yeah. We gotta work up to that one.
We're gonna have to get really drunk for the first 2 seasons.
Yeah, I know. Especially that second season.
I really did like Enterprise.
You know what? And I've said this millions of times. I enjoy Enterprise for what it was. You can't take it seriously. If you don't take it too seriously, it is a great series.
Who is the
But
captain?
the acting is terrible. It is.
Scott
It's
Bakula.
Archer, which is
Scott
played
Bakula.
by Scott Bakula,
You ever seen Quantum Leap?
Yep.
guy
Yeah.
from Quantum Leap. Ted.
The guy from Quantum
So
Leap.
it wasn't Christopher Pike.
No.
No, he's
No.
not 100 years before
So
Kirk.
Enterprise, the series Enterprise takes place. It's essentially, what is it? 100 years before Kirk.
110.
Or 80, 110. Yeah, so it's 110 years before Kirk. It's basically the first mission out of the solar system.
Ah, okay.
So
It's before the Federation.
Yeah, it's before the Federation. It's before all that, but it's kind of interesting because unlike all the other Star Treks in all the other series, how they always kind of know what they're doing. You know what I mean, Ted? Like with the originals and all the ones past it. This one, it shows you how bad they are at space travel. They're like, we don't know what the fuck we're doing, and they screw up constantly and piss
Yeah.
off people. And
There's no prime directive. There's no.
there's no prime directive or anything. Like all this stuff kind of caters to the fact that they have no idea really what they're doing, but they're going out anyway.
And
So
they
it's neat.
Their own beliefs and morals on, it's
Yeah, like
They just-
like
stepping
you know,
in crap the whole time, and
yeah. There's times when they just do things for themselves because they're doing things for themselves. They don't care about the Federation or Starfleet or whatever the hell you want to call it. They had Starfleet back then, I think, but
Yeah, it's a human specific organization at that point, and the humans and the Vulcans are sort of friends, but there's tension between them, and
there's
Because
a
they-
lot of tension. Yeah.
the Vulcans know what they're in for. They try to control them. They say, "Hey guys, you know
Yeah,
what?
they're like, you can't go do that. And they're like,
Yeah.
fuck you, I'm doing it
they're
anyway.
like,
And
do you
then
know
they
what's
screw it
out
up,
there
and
in
then-
outer space? There are
Yeah.
salt monsters. There are space.
There's
ghosts who
actually
live
a
in
scene
candles.
in the first episode. There's a scene where one person's just like, "Why are you going out? Everything can kill you." It's like,
Space is dangerous. Don't
yeah,
go.
It's dangerous. You don't need to go. It's fine. Wait a couple of 100 years.
Hockey Captain Archer, we're ready.
Yeah, we're ready. It's fine. We're ready, guys.
Yeah.
We got a ship that can do warp 5. We're fine.
Fast forward to the Zindi.
Yeah, and then you get to the Zindi and it's a whole shit show. But yeah. But anyway, yeah, it's a good series though. I enjoy it. Maybe you, me, and maybe Adam and Dave will have to do a rewatch series one day.
It's been a while. Hey, so another thing that was different in this episode too was the ISS Constitution battle class cruiser.
Yes.
Not
Yeah.
USS,
ISS, yes.
ISS, Imperial
ISS.
Starship.
And I'm almost positive they recreated that for Mirror Darkly as well.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It is. It is.
So
Yeah.
I think it's ISS in that as well.
It is. Yeah. Because the Terran, it's a Terran Empire in the Enterprise timeline, or
And I'm almost positive the logo's the same too.
it is because
Is it?
in
Yeah.
contrast to the Federation hadn't formed yet, but the Terran Empire had because they'd conquered Vulcan and a whole bunch of other planets.
Yeah, it's like a fist and a sword kind of thing.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Very
Okay.
cool. But anyway, it just goes to show you how important this episode is, right?
I love
Like, it
it.
spawned off
I
so
love
much
the
stuff.
Mirror Universe stuff. Dad, I know you don't watch a lot of other Star Trek outside of original series, but there's a ton of other Mirror stuff you might like if you liked this. So we don't have Jeff.
Well, I'll
so-
stick to that Enterprise, I think.
Yeah, well, I think you would enjoy Enterprise.
It was a pretty important episode for sure. I mean, and surprisingly, they didn't use it again. I guess they didn't have enough seasons to do it, but it was
Yeah, well, you're kind of limited when you have 3 seasons, and 2 of them are kind of short seasons to begin with. So
I would have liked if they revisited this, with like the Kirk team.
Yeah. Or see what happened after. That would have been cool too.
Could be a good Abrams movie.
Actually, you know what? That probably would have been a cool premise for one of the Star Trek movies. Yeah, I'm with Adam on that.
Could be the Tarantino version. That's
there you go, maybe. Who knows?
Okay, so the Tarantino apparently wanted to make a piece of the action, the 20.
Yeah, he wanted to redo that one. Yeah,
right. Dad would have liked that.
The gangsta one.
Okay, so Jeff's not here. So I guess we won't get fun facts. Sorry.
Fun fact: Jeff's not here.
Fun fact.
Into fun facts.
But we can get to ratings. And let's talk about this episode, or rate this episode more specifically. Let's get this in here. Okay. Alrighty. So I don't mind. Well, actually, no. I went. I think I went first last time. So let's start with Jody.
Oh, geez, you're putting me on the spot here. You know what? I'm gonna give this. It's not Balance of Terror for sure. You know what? I'm gonna give it a 9. It's a solid episode. It's pretty good.
All right. And Adam?
I'm going to give it a 9.5, 9.5. And
9.5. Wow.
No, more than just the episode, but the catalyst, the way that it took Star Trek and it was just such an important, groundbreaking episode. I think that it deserves more than just a 9. So.
Yeah, and this is an episode that's on every list for much-watch episodes of the original series. Like, there's no debate there. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. Dad?
I would give it a 9.2.
All right.
It's up there.
Pretty good. You know what? I like this just as much as Balance of Terror. It's very different. And it's, like I said, it's my favorite original series episode. So I'd be doing the disservice. I didn't give it a full 10. So 10 out of 10 for me, and that gives it a 9.4 overall among the group tonight. That's, I think, the highest, right? There's nothing higher than that.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah, closest thing is Balance of Terror at 9.1, and then the Doomsday Device at 9.0, and then also the City on the Edge of Forever at 8.9. So hey, some great episodes. We watched a lot of the great ones. Dad, do you have an episode in mind to do next?
Yes, I have an episode, and it's an interesting name to this one. For the world is hollow, and I have touched the sky.
That's the name of the
I
episode?
don't even remember that
It's
one.
an obscure. It's very obscure. You probably maybe have seen it once. For the world is hollow.
World is hollow.
And I have touched the
Season
sky.
3, episode 8.
If it's season 3, it can't be that good.
Oh, I know this one. Okay, yeah, just by the screenshots, I know this one.
I do
Yeah.
not.
This is the missile one, right? Yeah, this is the
It
missile
started
one.
with the missiles at the start. Yeah.
Don't spoil
Yeah,
it for me.
okay,
I've never
this
seen this. I've never watched
No,
this episode.
it's one that's not commonly shown.
I honestly think, Dave, I don't think I've ever seen the whole thing. I just remember the beginning.
I'm gonna get a story I've never seen before. I'm excited. All right, so
There you go. Might be your favorite. Might be your new favorite.
Just like a new
Maybe.
episode, Dave.
Season 3, episode 10. All right, let's do it. We'll be doing.
Well,
that
there's a
for the-
lot of them like that from this rewatch that I've gotten. There's some episodes I've never even seen before, so it's neat.
Okay, so we'll be back next Wednesday at 7:00 to talk about "For the World Is Hollow and I've Touched the Sky," whatever that is. Thanks so much for joining us tonight and listening to us on Mirror Mirror. If you were watching on Facebook or YouTube, but listening to the audio version after the fact. I think that's it. Is there any final comments? If not, stay tuned later tonight on Super Mater Brothers podcasting. Jeff and I will be covering Big Brother Veto episode. Tomorrow we'll be back to cover the live eviction over on Super Mater Brothers podcasting for Big Brother as well. And then later on that night we'll be covering Star Trek Lower Decks, the 4th episode of that show. And then heading into the weekend, we have Trivial Debates over on our channel, Trivial Debates on Saturday. Kevin hosting, me, Jody, and Chris Seymour all competing. And
Good
then
thing there's a pandemic on. That's all I can say.
I guess so.
It's a good thing, yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
And
I will say, Dave was outside more when there was when there wasn't a pandemic.
I still go outside. I'm not always
I
inside.
don't know.
I wasn't implying
that
anything.
studio with all those shows.
It's just an hour here, an hour there.
You're busier than Ron McLean on the Stanley Cup playoffs.
I'm actually thinking Dave should take over for Hockey Night in Canada.
All right.
I'd watch
Well,
it.
as long as it's got
He's
some Star
getting
Trek in it.
$750,000 a year or something.
Yeah. I didn't even mention Sunday. We had 2 podcasts. We're covering Big Brother, but that won't be till later on. But
Well, why not?
Because start at 9 p.m. 9 p.m. on Sunday night, we're going to be doing Star Trek Radio Theater, an episode of Deep Space Nine called Defiant. Where
There must be something on Monday I can tune
That's a
into.
great episode, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Hey, Dave.
So
you
what's
must
that?
have something going on Monday. I might be able to tune in.
Monday is an off day. I don't do anything on Mondays.
That's the day he goes
Jeez, I
outside.
never thought I'd hear that.
Yeah, I'm off on Mondays.
He
For
has to
now.
go get groceries and stuff on Mondays.
Yeah, that might be. We might have to do an enterprise podcast on Mondays or something. No, I need a night off. I need at least one.
You
night
let me
off.
know. I'll be there.
Yeah, tonight. But yeah, right now because it's Big Brother, it is a little nuts. I will.
Yeah.
I will
Well,
say.
you do like 3 podcasts for that a week. don't
A
you?
week. Yeah, that show
Yeah.
depends.
Yeah,
3
that's-
podcasts a week
that's busy.
minimum.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah, it's busy, but it's fine. We do it
You're a
because
busy
of that.
man.
Anyway, so tune into all that. Thanks, Adam. Thanks, Dad. Thanks, Jody. And
Thank
we'll
you.
see you